Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle, and it's Saturday. We got it's about 9:30 a.m. Central Time here. We got two big football games today. Divisional round. We got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans. That's kicking off, and I think in about what do we got? We got a while yet. I think that's not till 3:30 Central Time today. And then the Packers hosting the 49ers tomorrow. You got the Rams at Tampa Bay and the Bills at the Chiefs. So we're gonna get into a bunch of player props. We'll look at some of the news and the notes. We got Justin in the chat room. Good morning to you, sir. Let me hop into a screen share and let's take a look here. So I want to, before we get into some of the game props, I did want to kind of just look at some of the player news and notes and stuff that came along here. But it looks like Justin's asking, do you like the Titans and Cincinnati kicker over 1.5 field goals each? Off the top of my head, that probably feels likely. I think that game's going to be a little bit back and forth, low scoring. I can see field goals being much needed in this one. So I'm going to lean towards yes for the kicker prop. Also, Aaron Rodgers over 249.5. And I think that's probably good on both ends there. That feels really likely. The weather in Green Bay, I'm in Milwaukee right now. It's kind of just small snow flurries right now. It's going to be cold, but I still think 250 and 2 touchdowns feels pretty status quo for Rodgers. And we will get to it. So let me first, I just want to kind of cover some of the news. They are saying Derrick Henry won't be on a snap count today. It sounds like he's got like 5 screws in his foot and a plate, but everything's going to be just fine and dandy there. So Derrick Henry not on a snap count today. Expect him to be a busy guy. I'm trying to see here. These are more for tomorrow's game, but Ryan Jensen, the center for Tampa Bay, is questionable. It sounds like Tristan Wirfs is not going to play either. So Tampa Bay's offensive line, I'm concerned if they're missing 2 of their best players on the offensive line. That's going to definitely affect some things. The Packers are getting healthy today. They're activating Whitney Merciless. They also are getting Zadarius Smith back and Jair Alexander. So a huge boost to the Green Bay defense. Some New Orleans Saints notes. We'll see if I can find any other news here. Brashad Perriman not playing tomorrow. That's going to mean Scott Miller. He's kind of the next man up there. No Ronald Jones tomorrow either. Nick Bosa cleared protocols for today. And then there's Tristan Wirfs. It looks like Darrell Williams is questionable. Maybe I'll just click on some of these practice reports real quick. Let's first click into Cincinnati. I think they're good to go. This is from Thursday, but it looks like nobody noticeable out. Where's Tennessee? It's nice to see no Julio Jones or AJ Brown on this list. So everyone looks pretty healthy for the Tennessee side. On the Green Bay side, again, they had the bye last week. So I don't know what's up with David Bakhtiari. He didn't practice on Thursday. Let me just double check and see if Bakhtiari is going to be in or not. We got Andrew chiming in. Go Pack, go. He's going to be at the Frozen Tundra earlier or later tonight. So Bakhtiari is questionable for tonight. We still don't know what's going to happen here, so we'll have to get a report on that. Either way, even if Bakhtiari plays, definitely would be a boost to the Packers offensive line, but the way that the offensive line's playing right now has been pretty solid. So the Packers looking pretty healthy here. Jair Alexander going to play. Looks like Marquez Valdez-Scantling is not going to play, so that's going to be more Allen Lazard, more Randall Cobb, who's back as well. So healthy Packers, healthy on both sides of the ball, minus David Bakhtiari. And then the 49ers, they actually came in pretty hot. Nick Bosa cleared the concussion protocols, and Fred Warner got 2 full practices in this week. So 49ers looking relatively healthy. So now that we got that covered, let's hop into some of these player prop bets here. We'll first start with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Tennessee Titans. This one's at 47.5. I did want to check into the Tennessee weather. Oh yeah, we'll click into Nashville. Let's see what the Nashville weather looks like today. We'll just check the hourly here. Around kickoff, it's going to be sunny, about 30-some degrees, so it's going to be not much wind either. It looks like a very nice afternoon in sunny Nashville, Tennessee. So this one, 47.5, Titans 4-point favorites. That puts it roughly at, I can't do math right now, but I'm going to say roughly like 26 to 22-ish, somewhere in that vicinity here. So they're expecting probably, like Justin had the bet up here, probably at least 2 field goals from each team and probably 2-3 touchdowns, the 3 touchdowns coming to the winner. So let's click into this game and see what we can find and add to our bet slip. First, I'm going to look at the touchdown scorers. You probably have to take Derrick Henry. He's minus 190. And if you've been watching the show this year, we like to like take Derrick Henry, and then you're gonna pair him with another prop bet that has a good odd to score. So I don't know if you can do same game props wherever state you were in, but taking a Derrick Henry to score with the Devonta Adams today, that would get you a little bit better odds. So I'm interested in Derrick Henry. Joe Mixon did not play very well last week. I did want to show you guys the fantasy points allowed. This is from the season. As far as, let's see here. So the Bengals allowing the second most fantasy points per game here. So Tennessee, you're looking at the running backs and the tight ends. That's not really a great spot for the tight end for Tennessee, but they are allowing running back and tight end points. And then the Titans, bright green against the wide receiver. So this is going to go really well for Joe Burrow and company. So for the Derrick Henry, I feel good about that. I feel good about an A.J. Brown, perhaps. Those are really the only two guys I want to bet on scoring. You can always bet on a Ryan Tannehill rushing touchdown. That's down there at plus 290. But I think the way that they're going to move the ball is they're going to try to move it with Derrick Henry. They're going to take their deep shots to A.J. Brown. And I guess if you had to pick a tight end for them to score, it might be Jeff Swain. I don't know. I'm probably not going to throw a prop bet on a Tennessee tight end. But anyways, the Bengals. I think the Bengals are where you're going to want to get some prop bets. And I'm kind of coming up Bengals. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat room? Who's winning this game, Cincinnati or Tennessee? I'm slightly leaning Cincinnati to cover. I like that you look at what the Titans allow. They allow wide receiver points and quarterback points. So to me, one of those prop bets that we've been doing all season was you take the Chase and you take the Higgins touchdown, and one of them scores, you're going to get your money back. So just for instance, say you put $25 down on each guy to score. If only one of them scores, you're still going to make money if Chase scores and not Higgins. And if Higgins scores, you're going to make money if Chase doesn't score. So either way, it kind of covers your bet. I do like Chase and I like Higgins. What we got here. Chase touchdown, Henry touchdown, and Burrow 2 TDs. Let me see. What is the Joseph Burrow passing props? And they got Joe Burrow at. They're liking the over here. I would say this feels pretty good. I like him for 2 touchdowns today. Whether it's a Higgins or Uzama game or even Tyler Boyd. So I do like the Joe Burrow over 1.5 touchdowns. That feels pretty good. Burrow at 279.5. I don't know if I feel like messing with those numbers. Again, they have a really good rusher in Joe Mixon. I think I'm going to stay away from that. But I do like Burrow, probably over 2 touchdowns. Julio Jones, not interested. Uzama's interesting, but like him and Tyler Boyd are kind of dark horses. So these are the guys that I think are going to score if someone were to score. Let's go take a peek at the rushing receiving numbers here. Derrick Henry, 83.5. It feels risky putting a lot of money on Derrick Henry here. So I think if you're interested in this, just nibble at it. I'd feel better about him getting a touchdown than him hitting his yardage totals. But again, he's going to be a huge part of the game plan. So you could see that. I do like Joe Mixon 60.5. That seems pretty low. As far as receiving numbers today, Jamar Chase is at 80.5. Higgins at 62.5. I kind of like Chase at 80.5. He was unstoppable last week. Against a little bit better defense, I think. So the Raiders were statistically better against the pass. So I do like Chase. I do think Higgins' number is a little bit low as well. And A.J. Brown receiving 73.5. He's going to be a huge part of it. I think the way that Tennessee wins is if they come out and they hammer through the air and they kind of surprise attack them with some A.J. Brown and some Julio Jones and maybe some other trick plays. As far as receptions go, Chase at 6.5, that's plus 100. T. Higgins at 4. People are hitting the over on T. Higgins here. Okay. So people are thinking like minus 145. That's one of the most bet up bets here. People are thinking he's going to get 5 receptions, which if he gets 5 receptions, he's likely over 62.5 yards. So if you're interested, this number looks good to me. T. Higgins over 4.5 catches at minus 145. That likely means he's going over on his yards, probably a better chance of a touchdown today. And again, just looking at these numbers, Tennessee's the worst team against opponent wide receivers. They've allowed 20 touchdowns in 17 games, 200, like just tons of stats. Like no team left in the playoffs has allowed more stats than the Titans to wide receiver. So is it a Chase game? Is it a Higgins game? If you feel the Boyd numbers are low for you, go ahead and take these wide receivers. And I think in essence, it would also be a Joe Burrow game. So I think for me, and again, keep it like Tennessee's going to run the ball. They're going to play their game. But I think for fantasy DFS lineups, I'm probably going to go Joe Burrow and go with this passing attack here. So that's probably enough time spent on this game. We'll move into the Packers and the 49ers. Yeah, I like the Adams and the Henry parlay. That does make sense. And I get for as a prediction here. Let me go back to this. So the Titans -4. It's a home game. The money line's kind of interesting here for these guys. I feel like the Bengals can cover the 4. I'm kind of with you on that, Justin. And I just feel like if Derrick Henry comes out and he's just not himself, he's not up to his full speed or anything like that. I can see Joe Burrow in this passing offense having their way with the Titans. So I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna go Cincinnati here. I'm gonna call Cincinnati takes this one on the road and crashes the AFC Championship game. Let's get to the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay favored by 5.5 here. 47 implied in this one. So that, again, puts it around about 20, basically 27 to, or about 26 to 21.5, somewhere in that range. So they're liking the Packers to probably score 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals. They're liking the 49ers to maybe hit 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals as well. So the difference here, let's go take a look at let's start with the passing props on Green Bay side. They got Aaron Rodgers here at 264, Jimmy G 231.5. We should probably pop into the Green Bay weather first, huh? Let's see what the kickoff's going to look like. I know it's going to be cold. It's definitely going to be cold, below 0 probably at the kickoff. Let's click in the hourly. All righty. So around 7 and 8, it's going to be, it says about 12 degrees, 11 degrees, 8-mile-per-hour winds. It's probably going to be, it's going to be about 4 or 5 degrees at kickoff. I'm not too concerned about the wind. It looks like it's actually going to be no greater than 5 to 8 miles per hour. So I think the wind's going to be fine. But it's just a standard cold Packer game here. Not too concerned about precipitation or anything. So I think Rodgers 264 does make sense. Rodgers 3 passing touchdowns. Interesting. I don't know if I feel good about it. People are slamming the under here. So Justin, you said 1.5 touchdowns. Like he's gonna hit 2 touchdowns. He's gonna DraftKings has him at 2.5 here. People are taking the under on this. I feel like 2 touchdowns passing and then 1 rushing from Jones or Dillon makes a lot of sense for me. Nobody wants to take Aaron Rodgers interception here. People are smashing the under. People are also smashing the Jimmy Garoppolo over half interception here. So they're thinking he's going to throw an INT, which it probably is likely. He's usually good for at least 1 turnover per game. Let's go look at my favorite touchdown prop bets here. I think you got to take Devonta Adams. Let me go to our favorite site for you guys, StatMuse. I haven't pulled this stat up in a while, but let's just take a gander at what Devonta Adams versus the 49ers. This is going to be pretty gnarly here. So Devonta Adams in his last 4 games against the San Francisco 49ers. So earlier this year, 12 receptions on 18 targets, 132 yards and a touchdown. I believe this was 2020, 10 receptions, 12 targets, 173 yards and a touchdown. Back in 2019, it looks like 12 targets, 43 yards and a touchdown. So low yardage day, but he's still got the targets and the receptions, and he also got the touchdown. And then back in 2018, 10 for 132 and 2 touchdowns. So Devonta has statistically dominated the 49ers. This might be the most dominant performance he has against any team in the NFL. So I really like Devonta Adams in this one, 135. It's not going to surprise me if he comes out and he gets 2 touchdowns in this game. He's plus 380 for that. So I'm going to smash the Devonta touchdown. He's saying, should I go Adams and Henry or make a same game parlay on the Packers game? I'm open to. I think Henry's going to score today. I don't think Cincinnati, man, like they do. Of all the teams left in the playoffs, they allow the most rushing stats here. They've allowed 13 rushing touchdowns. Like it feels good for a Derrick Henry touchdown. If they get close, that's what they're going to do. Henry's back. He's chomping at the bit. So I like the Adams Henry parlay if you want to mix both games. I wouldn't be too afraid. of that. What are the odds of Packers defensive touchdown? So they got him down here at plus 450. So they're saying basically it's the same odds as an Aaron Rodgers rushing touchdown, which actually this Rodgers tends to run touchdowns in some cold games. So the Packers defense right now, if they get, again, we talked at the beginning of the Packers game that Jimmy Garoppolo, people were hitting the one interception for him. So if they do get their hands on a ball, there could be a Packers defensive touchdown there. That could be kind of fun to see. So that's plus 450. I'm not going to call that though. But for other Packer touchdowns, I think if it's not Devontae, it's going to be Aaron Jones. That's probably the second best odds. I do like A.J. Dillon. He's the same odds as Allen Lazard. And then after that, I think those are probably the four guys I'm going to stick to in the Packers. Sure, you could see a Randall Cobb. You could see a Josiah DeGuara. You could even see a Mercedes Lewis. But I think if you're betting on the Packers, stick with Adams, stick with Jones. A.J. Dillon could be in for a good day here. As far as the 49ers, they're one of the better defenses, by the way, but they do allow wide receiver points and quarterback points. So if you're feeling it, I actually think I might like the Lazard touchdown plus 165. He's been in a groove with Aaron Rodgers the last month or so. On the 49er side, I think you'd be crazy not to take a Deebo Samuel. Green Bay does allow. Actually, they've been pretty stingy against wide receivers. They do allow quarterback and tight end points. So I do like Deebo, but I think George Kittle at 165, probably a pretty good bet. I think Kittle scored when they played earlier this year. So Deebo, Kittle, those are my top two 49ers to score. I would assume Elijah Mitchell does have a good chance here if they get in close. So those three guys are the touchdown odds for me. Let's take a peek at the rushing receiving numbers. Should I put Kelsey and Kupp in there and go four leg? No, I would just keep it, especially with a guy like Henry and Adams. Like, that feels good. I wouldn't want to tie it. I would just cash in those two, leave them in the same, do the same day parlay. So just stick with Henry and Adams, and then tomorrow you can do Kelsey and Kupp and just kind of leave those separately. Samuel over rushing. Let's see here. Samuel, they got Deebo at 38.5. Let's see. Receiving, they got Deebo at 53.5. So they have him total. I don't see a total over under for him. So I guess if it's low enough for Deebo, I would take it. If it's under 90, I think I'd take it. If it's anywhere in the 80s, I think I'd take it for Deebo. But for just true rushing yards here, Aaron Jones 52.5. A.J. Dillon 40.5. There's Deebo. There's Elijah Mitchell. I don't know if I feel great about any of these rushing numbers. I think they're going to try to funnel Elijah Mitchell as many rushing attempts as he can. That's interesting. I mean, that's fair. It's an interesting number for sure. I'm trying to think back of what happened earlier in this season between these two. They did play week 3. Let's take a peek at that box score. So this was before Deebo got into the heavy rushing. So he went off for 52 yards. So in order for him to hit, he's going to need probably that 40 rushing yards to hit that, unless he can, pop off a big play in the passing game. So I think that's, for me, I don't feel great. I don't feel bad about it. It's kind of right in line. As far as the rushing numbers here, nothing really pops out to me. You did see Aaron Jones go for 82 yards against this team earlier in the season. He did get 19 carries, though, 25 for 100 yards as a tandem between these two guys here. So I don't know if I'm feeling great about it. I do like Packers to be able to run their overs here. So maybe it's Jones and Dillon both over here. As far as receivers, Devontae 94.5. He's probably going over. Kittle at 51.5. So that one feels really, really good to me. Kittle destroyed the Packers earlier this year, 7 for 92 on 9 targets here. So I'm liking the Kittle 51.5 feels kind of low. Deebo Samuel, I feel better about the Deebo 53.5 than I do the rushing numbers. Allen Lazard at 40.5 feels kind of low. Let me see what else we got here as far as receptions. They got Devonta at 7.5, Deebo 4.5, Kittle 4.5. I'm kind of feeling the Kittle. I think it's going to be he's going to probably be their most successful player today through the air. So we'll see though. I think I'm going to move on though. This was a fun game. Packers spread at -1 or -5.5. For me, it feels like Green Bay is going to cover the 5.5. I think it comes down to a touchdown drive for the 49ers. I don't know if a field goal is going to save it for them. Yeah. 18, 20, 29, 21 reception yards. So Kittle's been in a funk, huh? George Kittle. Let me see these George Kittle numbers. So George Kittle, very low target total. Interesting. See, the problem though is I mean, these teams have been better against the tight end. Green Bay does allow tight end points. They're one of the worst teams against tight end here. So I guess I'm going on a leap of faith. They're one of the worst teams against tight end left in the playoffs here. So I would bank on a George Kittle bounce back. I'm not too nervous. Maybe you just stick with the touchdown bet, or you do the yards, the 50 whatever yards it was. But let's move on to the Rams and the Buccaneers. They have Tampa Bay by 2.5, 47.5 total implied in this one. As far as the touchdowns, Cooper Kupp, of course, you probably got to consider a Cooper Kupp touchdown. Leonard Fournette's going to play in this one, so I feel good about him finding the end zone. Gronk is probably going to score. Mike Evans is a 50-50 call, but I do feel good. If Tampa Bay is going to score, I'm going to rank it as Fournette, Gronk, Evans. That's how I would rank the hierarchy there. I feel good about Gronk in this one. Probably not so much Keyshawn Vaughn. As far as the Rams go, it's obviously Cooper Kupp. But I think you got to consider Odell Beckham in this one. He's been finding the end zone. Cam Akers, it wouldn't surprise me if he finds the end zone in this one. I know Tampa Bay's defense is a little bit stickier, but I feel like the passing attack for Matt Stafford's probably where you're going to want to lay in this one. People are hammering the over here. Yeah, people are hitting the over 1.5 here for Stafford here. So likely 2 passing touchdowns, and it looks like nothing too crazy on the over-unders here. People are also liking him for an interception. People are saying no interceptions for Tom Brady. I might throw an interception on Tom Brady. He's working with a lot of backup receivers here in Mike Evans. So interesting. I might take the interception there. But I do like Stafford over 2 touchdowns. So if we're looking at who he's going to throw the ball to, I mean, obviously it's Cooper Kupp, but Odell Beckham plus 160 feels kind of low. Tyler Higbee has been playing well the last couple games. Plus 250 seems interesting as well. It won't let me select these guys and highlight them. So to recap, though, I'd like Tampa Bay to score maybe 3 touchdowns. That's Leonard Fournette, Gronk, and Evans. Those are the guys that I want to be putting on my card. And then for the Rams, Cooper Kupp probably going to score twice. It wouldn't surprise me if he scores twice. So I like Cooper Kupp the most, of course. But Cam Akers, man, don't sleep on Cam Akers. And I think Odell Beckham followed by Higbee. Those are the 4 guys that I'm going to stick with. So it's probably going to be a Van Jefferson game or something crazy. So we'll see. But let's look at these rushing receiving numbers. Akers 47.5. Tampa Bay is just so damn good stuffing the ball. I don't know if I want to take a rushing prop there. Receiving numbers, though, I could see Cam Akers hitting his over here. Cooper Kupp over 100 yards, probably going to happen. We actually have a history between these two teams from, I think, back in like week 5, week 6, these two teams played. Let's take a peek. Let's click into Tampa Bay. Let's click at week 3, these two teams played. Cooper Kupp, 9 for 96 and 2 touchdowns, so he's going to be right at it. They did have Deshaun Jackson in that game who gobbled up a lot of yards, so it should have been a bigger day for Cooper Kupp. So I'm going to say Cooper Kupp over 99.5. Mike Evans, 73.5. He played really good in that game, so Mike Evans feels like a safe bet to hit his over. 73.5 feels pretty low. Gronk, 63.5. I don't trust it. People are taking the over, though, here. And Gronk went 4 for 55 back in that game. I don't know if I feel great about that. But I do like the Kupp. I like the Evans. I'm interested in Cam Akers. After that, I'm not sure if I feel great about it. Cooper Kupp, 8.5 receptions. Jesus. And he had 9 for 96 the first time these two teams met. So people are taking the under here. Maybe you take the over. I don't know. But we'll move on here. I just want to see if there's any other division specials. Cooper Kupp or Mike Evans to have 100. This one, look at this one. I don't know if you're using DraftKings, but Kupp or Mike Evans to have 125. One of these guys probably will. Odell Beckham, 74.5 receiving yards plus over to 75 yards and a touchdown is kind of fun here. Gronk and Evans over 145. I think that's a yes. Tom Brady and Matt Stafford to combine for 600. I'll say yes. These feel really fun. I wish I should have clicked on these for the other games. We'll circle back to that though. I'm going to quickly cover the Chiefs and the Bills. This one's going to be fun. 54 total points in this one. I don't. It can go either way. I'm not going to make a prediction on this one. I feel like this is going to be the popcorn most fun game to watch of the weekend. Tyreek Hill, Kelsey. Of course, these guys are probably going to score. I think if there's going to be another Chiefs touchdown, Byron Pringle has been hot. He's been playing really good football the last two months or so. Byron Pringle plus 200 here. Otherwise, I'm interested in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Bills have been beat as a running TD the last few, maybe like the last month and a half. So it feels like Bills have been ran on. But for the hierarchy, I think you got to go Tyreek, you got to go Kelsey, and then maybe Byron Pringle might be that number 3 guy here. And then I'm interested in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So those 4 guys for sure. The Bills side, I don't know why they got Devin Singletary up here at minus 105. He's been playing good football, so he's interesting. But I think you got to stick with Diggs. You got to stick with Knox. Dawson Knox had a big game when these two teams played earlier this year. So Diggs and Knox. And then I'll put Singletary as my number 3 guy for the Bills. And then Gabe Davis has been playing well. Sanders has been playing well. Those guys are something to think about as well. For the passing props, I think taking Josh Allen, people are smashing him over 1.5 touchdowns. He's going to throw 2 touchdowns. I see that easily. So that's kind of like a free money bet for me. Mahomes, I'll tell you what, I'll take Mahomes over 2.5 passing touchdowns. Like people are taking taking him under 3. I'll give me Mahomes 3. That one's kind of fun. I might put that on the website this week. So Mahomes 3, and I'll say Josh Allen even 3 for that matter here. As far as rushing props, I don't feel great about either of the rushing numbers here. Receiving stats, though, Dawson Knox, 40.5. I'm going to hit that. Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, both at 71. I'm going to hit that. And Diggs. I like all 3 of these guys here, plus Dawson Knox to hit their overs. I'm not a big receptions guy here, but Singletary, 84.5 for combined is interesting. Rushing attempts, I'm not trusting that at all. Do I like Tyler Bass and Butker over 1.5 field goals? Probably. Defensive special teams props. So DraftKings likes Butker for sure. I'm going to say yes. I mean, this game's going to have points. There's going to be opportunities for both teams to score, at the end of the half, whatever, end of the game. So I'm going to say both kickers make 2 field goals at least. I did want to check out the DK promotions. Josh Allen, 1+ passing touchdowns. Minus what? I guess you take this free money, I guess so. But we're going to get out of here shortly here. I just want to go over and look at the divisional specials again for the Packers. Aaron Jones and Elijah Mitchell to combine for 2+ rushing touchdowns. I don't know if I feel great about that. Devonta Adams to have a 50+ yard TD reception. Probably going to say no. Debo over 150.5 combined rushing. I'm going to say no. Kittle and Debo over. These ones were not as great as the Tampa Bay specials were fantastic. Let me go to the Cincinnati specials. Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon combined for 150 rushing yards. I could see that one. I could see that one. Jamar Chase and AJ Brown to combine for 3+ touchdowns. Just because that's fun. I think I would do that just for the fun of it. Maybe you throw $20, $10, whatever. Chase, Higgins, AJ Brown, and Julio to each to have a 50+ receiving yards. I'll bite. I'll bite on that one. That one's fun. Burrow or Tannehill to have 3. One of the guys could. I'll say one of them could, but it's going to be likely be Burrow. So yeah, I like Higgins. I like the Higgins receptions. It's weird. So Underdog's got him at 5.5 receptions and a TD. DraftKings has Higgins at 4.5. So I like Higgins to get at least 5. So I guess I'll go with it. I'll go 6. Higgins 6 for 92 and a touchdown feels about right. Aaron Jones and Dillon over 49.5 rushing yards. I feel like both of these guys can hit their overs. I want to take a peek at what Green Bay did the last time we saw them in a competitive game. So I'm not counting that game, but so they destroyed the Vikings. I think you got to go back to the Browns game to see a competitive box score. So that one, Jones 66, Dillon 41. Dillon just likely needs 2 more carries here. So I feel better about Jones hitting his over. I'm not sure I feel great about AJ Dillon, it depends. Maybe Dillon in the passing and the receiving game because Dillon is used as the weapon. I do like Adams to get a 2-touchdown bet as well. So but I don't know, guys. That's going to do it for today's show. I got to get some stuff done. I got some errands to run before these games kick off in 5.5 hours. We have Cincinnati going to Tennessee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of these bets entered up into the website. Check the links in the description if you want to check out my full list. Enjoy the games. Get your bets in. I'm gonna pick right now. I'm gonna say Cincinnati steals this one. I'm gonna say Green Bay wins by a touchdown. I'm gonna go Tampa Bay, man. I'm nervous about Tampa Bay offensive line. I don't feel great with Tristan Wirfs injured. I don't feel great about Ryan Jensen injured. They're getting Leonard Fournette back, yes, but something feels weird. I think you're gonna see the Rams advance, and then Buffalo, Kansas City. I don't know. My heart wants Buffalo. My head says Kansas City, so I'm going to follow the heart. And you're going to see next week, AFC Championship, Cincinnati versus Buffalo, Green Bay versus the Rams. And I'm going to sign off with that. Thank you guys so much for your time. Enjoy the games. Good luck with your bets. We'll see you later. Peace.